made to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle.
All right, we're on episode 40 of Chiro Hustle. I'm your co-host, Luke Millette. Here's your host, Jim Chester.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Chiro Hustle. Today we had the pleasure of interviewing Richelle Knowles, and she helps put on the amazing weekend of Mile-High Chiropractic, and that is out in Colorado. If you guys want to know more about Richelle's practice up there in Boulder and Mile-High Chiropractic Weekend, just stay tuned. So I know everybody's interested in hearing this, Richelle. What is your chiropractic story and what influenced you to become a chiropractor?
Sure. It's actually a really interesting story, and I've told it a lot at different programs and seminars and stuff that I spoke at, but I was actually in pharmacy school when I discovered chiropractic. I had some pretty interesting things happen, but I have a twin brother who's a chiropractor who practices in Florida. And he, since about the age of 12 years old, knew that he wanted to be a chiropractor. And we had a field doc that my mom had taken my brother and I to. And because, he was he had sent my brother down to look at Sherman College. And my brother was in pre-med. He played college basketball, and he went down, looked at Sherman, fell in love, heard Reggie speak, met all the amazing teachers there, and then decided to be a chiropractor. And I was in pharmacy school, and I was working for a pharmaceutical company with my internship, and I wasn't really happy. But the biggest thing is that I started getting chiropractic care during the time because my brother started getting chiropractic care. And my mom would take us, or I'd meet her there from college. I'd drive. And I started noticing all kinds of changes in my health, like things that had been bothering me most of my life. Like I had really bad headaches and like really, really bad migraines where I'd have to sit in a dark room with without noise and everything. And I started noticing, wow, I haven't had headaches in a really long time. And I used to get them a couple times a month, like really severe. And I thought, well, that started happening when I started getting chiropractic care, and then just, improved immune function. And I was just happier and had more peace in my life. And I thought, wow, there must be something to this chiropractic. And I had a couple of things happen at the pharmaceutical company that I worked at where I really saw how, and I don't like to bash medicine because I think to make chiropractic great, you don't have to make anything else wrong. But I kind of saw how people are overprescribing things and whatnot, and had some things happen that I was aware of. And I went down to visit my brother and went to a lyceum at Sherman College and heard Reggie Gold and said, wow, this sounds like something amazing. Like I had always wanted to be in healthcare and help people, but and I thought that by going to be a pharmacist that's what I was going to do. And until I really heard the chiropractic story and got to experience in my own body, it really opened my eyes to what an amazing profession it was. So I left my last year of pharmacy school and went down to Sparkle City, South Carolina to Sherman College. So that's my story. It was both kind of personally and professionally that it hit me.
So let's pull the curtain back a little bit. And how long
Sure.
have you been in the chiropractic profession?
Well, I started getting chiropractic care when I was 19, and I've been practicing. I went to pharmacy school and then chiropractic school, but I've been practicing here in Boulder for 19 years.
Woo!
So,
Wow.
Long time.
You're pushing into that double decade.
Double decades, yes. It's soon. It's very soon. We started November of '99. Danny and I opened up our office in Boulder. So
Wow, since I've known you guys, it's been really cool to get to know the Team Knowles, which I like to call you guys.
Yeah.
And you guys have a great support team that you guys have up there helping your clinic run. And you guys have an awesome chiropractic family as well. And talk a little bit about being a mom and running a practice and raising kids in a chiropractic lifestyle.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. It's nothing short of that. I think that having a family, whether you're a male or a female, but having a family and also practicing with my husband has just been such a blessing, because we always say that we practice as one chiropractor. We made a commitment at the time when we graduated and started our office that we wanted to be the one to raise our kids. And so one of us always stayed home and one of us would go and practice, and we overlapped just a little bit. But a majority of our kids' lives, we were I would be home in the morning and I would go in the afternoon, or vice versa. And we just kind of always split how we practiced. And that was like such a blessing. Danny always says it's like the best part-time job you can have, being a chiropractor, although he works 24/7. So I don't know. But it's been really awesome to just see how healthy and vital and alive kids can be, and how different their experience is growing up, being free from subluxation from the time they're born, and just how they're more adaptable and their nervous system functions better and their immune system stronger, and just the way they handle life is completely different. Things that I remember that would stress me, or that I even see stress other kids or kids their age, they seem to not get so bent about things. They seem to be able to adapt and recover and see the good and positive and realize that life's happening for them and not to them. So it's been really remarkable to raise chiropractic kids.
So what would you say makes you unique in the chiropractic world?
What makes me unique? I don't know. I think all chiropractors are unique. I think Danny and I kind of have our hands in a whole bunch of different avenues in the chiropractic profession. We teach Network Spinal and started Mile-High, and we've been on some boards at either schools or states or organizations. So we've kept really busy, and we're pretty involved and pretty active in the profession. And so I think that adds to the uniqueness, and especially because it's kind of in different facets of the profession, from technique to philosophy to political stuff. So yeah, I know there's a lot of us out there like that, though. So,
let's go down.
Grateful.
Let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit and talk about
Sure.
Mile-High and why that became something, and how it is the powerhouse that it is today.
Yeah, I mean, we really just wanted to have a home in the center of the country. And I know there's other absolutely amazing chiropractic events. I know a dear friend of ours, Scott Garber, his event, the Berkshire's Philosophy event, is coming up at the beginning of April here. And there's, really amazing events in the profession. I know the ICPA just had their summit, and there's great things out there. But we wanted to create a hub in Colorado for people that they could come to. There wasn't just like a rah event, but that had substance, that had philosophy, that had technique and art, and had research, and also as a way to raise money for organizations and chiropractic schools and research and everything that we felt strongly about, as a way to give back to the profession that we love, that's given us so much. And so we started Mile-High. And Jim, you've been at every Mile-High.
Yeah, I've had an opportunity to come as a guest on the first one and actually see how everything was structured. And actually, I wasn't even like a huge like chiropractic seminar guy back then. That was honestly one of the first like big seminars I was a part of, and I got dipped into this whole thing of amazing speakers and being able to see how you guys structured the whole thing. And ever since that first one, I just got turned on to the chiropractic world like none other.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's a really remarkable, it's a great event. And Danny works so hard at it with my help, and our staff is just, our staff that runs our office, they also help run Mile-High, which is just extraordinary that they can pull that off. And but it's just like you said, Team Knowles. We've got a good team and a good group of people, and it's really been awesome to see it grow over the years and the impact that it's had in people's lives. And we're just kind of astounded by it and just absolutely grateful and looking forward to another year this year. So.
Yeah, for me, being walking through all the different facets of being a part of that group was awesome, and eventually being able to speak at the philosophy group, but filming it, doing the Facebook Lives there, being a vendor there, and just becoming a part of the Colorado chiropractic family was a super special moment for me over the past couple years. And to see what you guys have done, and to see the growth potential that you guys have entrusted upon the chiropractic profession by starting Mile-High. I mean, it's honestly something. It's kind of like a baby for me too, seeing it grow up.
Right. And we would thank you so much for always being there, and for doing the Facebook Lives and the videos, and you and Luke being a part of it. We love having you as part of the Mile-High family. So.
Well, it's certainly enriched our lives too. So thank you for establishing that platform. And I know it's touched so many other people's lives across the whole profession. And I know so many people are grateful for the work that you guys do together.
Thank you.
So what kind of quotes or mantras stick out in your mind that you say to yourself on a daily basis, if you have any?
Yeah. I'm a quote person. I have so many quotes that I think of, and that I kind of, like you said, like reflect on daily. One of the ones that I love, and I know Tony Robbins says it, and Donnie Epstein says it a lot, but that life is happening for you and not to you. I kind of said that about my kids, that I've seen them kind of live their life. I think that's one of the biggest things. Nobody has the perfect unstaying life. Everybody has stuff that happens, and stress, and we lose people, and we wreck car. It's like stuff happens in your life. You have an employee quit. Like, everybody has had stuff, but I think it's how you look at that stuff and how you use it. And you can either use it to be a victor or a victim, and I choose to be a victor. So I try to take all those things. It's not that I don't get stressed, but I try to take all those things and see the positive, and see like, okay, what's happening in my life, and what lesson is this trying to teach me, and how am I being guided? So that's probably one of my favorite ones. I also really like, my mom at one time had sent me this really amazing like little thing to put on a shelf, and it said that life isn't about waiting for the rain to pass, but it's about learning to dance in the rain. And it's kind of a very similar quote, that it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows, but you've got to learn to just be grateful and happy in the midst of the storm. So those are kind of two of my favorites.
Those are all some pretty wise words that we should all try to live by. So what would the chiropractic profession be able to accomplish if more doctors and CAs came to Mile-High every year?
Yeah. I just think that having a really clear vision and a clear message is so important. And I also think that having people's teams be on point and having, a vision of what it would be like for your community to be subluxation free, and seeing yourself as being a doctor and a CA as not just being somebody who adjusts people or who does exams or scans or whatnot, but that you truly are an educator, because, that's what chiropractor or what doctor means. And so it would I would just love for, people to have even more of an impact on their community when they get attached to that vision.
So kind of jumping off that a little bit.
Sure.
Where do you see the chiropractic profession in about 20 years?
I hope it's in a good place. I'd love to see a message of the vertebral subluxations at the center of. I'm on the IFCO board of directors, and we're in the process of rebranding and doing more international summits and really getting involved more internationally and having a global impact. And I would love to see chiropractors realizing that it can be simple, it can be pure and it can be simple, and it doesn't have to be hard. And I'd love to see chiropractors thrive, and be able to do well in practice and have a nice life. And people come out of school with so much debt, that I think that they're always looking for that next shiny thing that's going to be kind of the magic genie in the office. And honestly, if you analyze someone's spine, you find subluxations, you correct them, you get their spine healthier, get their body more adaptive, get their nervous system functioning better. You can, if people have that message, they can change the profession and they can change their communities in the world. So.
Yeah, that's important. Keeping the conversation of chiropractic, pure, I think is one of the things that we really have to focus on as a whole chiropractic team. And, keeping the conversation, on subluxation-based chiropractic and making sure that that's a tenet in the future of chiropractic. I think, from the whole perspective of starting Mile-High to running a successful practice to then making an influence, becoming the mentor for the chiropractor, I think that is something to, deliver people the right resources. And at one point, you were the one that was mentored, right?
Oh, for sure. Danny and I laughed because a couple years ago, and it was actually after Mile-High it was a few years after we had started Mile-High. You kind of always, when you get busy and you're building a practice and you're raising a family, you get into this place of like always still seeing yourself as that person that just graduated from school. And then you look at each other one day and you say, wow, we're actually starting to be at that point. And a lot of my mentors are still engaged in practicing or teaching or whatever, but that we're at that place where we're starting to become the mentor. And that's a really interesting place to, flip from that. But I've had a lot of amazing mentors over the years, and I would never in a million years be where I'm at if it wasn't for the impact that teachers and mentors have had on my life. And so I, hope to have that type of an impact on other chiropractors and people getting out of school. And I don't think it's an age thing, because, I think you can learn from people that are students, and we can all learn from each other and mentor each other. So I think it's more of a collaborative effort. So.
Well, yeah, I find it quite interesting because there's even chiropractors been practicing for 2 decades reach out to me and ask me stuff. And I don't even know if they realize that I've only been working in the chiropractic profession going on 8 years.
That's amazing.
And, the amount of lives that I've had a chance to mentor, especially over the past, I would say, 2 years and less, 1 year to 2 years, it's just been astounding how many people have actually reached out to me and asked me what can they do to make their practices better. And I share with them what I can, and I line them up with resources and people to reach out to. But it's amazing, like when you start getting into a leadership role, I'm sure you experience the same thing. How many people reach out to you and Danny on a daily basis asking for some type of guidance or some type of a resource, or what can they do to get themselves to make more impact?
Absolutely. It's and I don't know how you guys feel, but it's very humbling, because none of us are perfect and we're all still learning and growing, and you're right. Giving people resources to make an impact is one thing. And, it's once again, here we go back, Luke, to the quotes, but the Superman quote of "with great power comes great responsibility." When you're talking to people about where to use their resources, where to go, where to get involved, things to do, you really feel like you want to make sure that you do right by people and make sure that you're sending them in the right direction. So it's humbling. It's kind of awe-inspiring. It's, I don't know. Well, it's hard to put your finger on,
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Movewell University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle. Well, I'll lead in with you a little bit too on that topic. And there's times, I'm sure Luke will tell you this, but there's times where it turns 5 o'clock and he'll see me pace around the house with my headphones on talking to different people about chiropractic for like 3 hours straight, where I'm just like walking around the house talking to a young DC that has something that they're looking to have, some type of guidance with, or I don't know, or there's somebody like Keith Wasung that reaches out to me and I'll be talking to Keith for an hour, and then the next thing I know, Dave Major's on the phone with me an hour, and then there's a struggling DC that reaches out to me and I'm on the phone with them for an hour, and before I know it, I spent my whole day talking chiropractic, not only to like amazing leaders, but then the next day I wake up and I do an interview with a student. We do a podcast with you. And, it's just amazing how many chiropractic conversations that I'm sure you have with patients. And,
right.
and then, sharing this information on so many different levels with so many different people, it's always goes back to the premise of one word, which is chiropractic.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're, talking about some people that you're speaking with. I remember whenever we were young in practice, and I used to always say like, well, I want to have personal life and I want to have professional life. And Danny he did his externship, I think they call it a PMOE now, at Sherman with Peter Kevorkian and Patty Giuliano. And they had such a huge impact on our life, how we set up our practice, the way we do life, because the way they do life is so extraordinary that we were like, that's what we want our life to be like. And I remember Peter saying one time, don't necessarily think about like separating personal and professional. Like if chiropractic is life, life is chiropractic. Like just let it infuse into all different areas of your life. And so when I kind of let go of like creating those boundaries, and not that I don't think I think it's healthy to create boundaries, and my family is my number one thing in my life, and my kiddos and my extended family and my hubby, but I also feel like life can be chiropractic and chiropractic can be life. It can just kind of like infuse in all of what you do. So I don't know. There's not off times. Like you can be on and you can relax and you can still be like living your truth,
So you keep mentioning making an impact, which leads into our next question. How do you guys make an impact on your community with Mile-High? What are your key marketing strategies and how do you promote yourselves?
Well, that's kind of mostly Danny's thing. He's really he does most of the marketing for Mile-High, and he does a lot of Facebook stuff. And we're in a lot of different circles in the profession. So I think just for me, what I like making connections with people. Talking to them on the phone, meeting them, teaching programs, things like that. So I would think like just purely being involved and being out there and being around is probably the biggest way we promote what we do. And it's kind of the same way with our practice. We do a lot of education in our practice, and being out in the community, talking to people, having classes, and just being part of our community. It's the same way as being part of the chiropractic community. It just kind of, there's a lot of word of mouth too, like people who have been and said, oh, you've got to go to this event. Just kind of, it's the same thing as building the practice. It's like having, a referral-based practice where you get most of your new patients through people saying like they had such an amazing experience in your office. So, yeah, I would say that's mostly what we do.
Well, I think it's really cool that you kind of stay in your lane and you let Danny stay in his lane, and you play the mom role because that's what you do, and you really care about your family unit, and you let him handle the media edge of all of it, and he does a fantastic job, and I think you guys are a great team together. And
thank you.
Just off the cuff, I think it's really cool that you guys look for new talent all the time to feature at Mile-High. And you guys are always looking to get a new voice up there and to give more exposure to some people that others don't, necessarily know who they are in the chiropractic world. What made you guys decide that you wanted to go that route by giving other people that might not get a platform in other circles? What made you guys decide you wanted to go that route with Mile-High?
I think there's a couple things. First of all, we like I said, we run in a lot of different circles, so we're friends with people that are that do different techniques that we do, or do practice management programs, or are in research and different things like that. So we just wanted Mile-High to be a place, so it didn't matter what technique you practiced or where in the country you practice or what of those practice management circles you were in or whatnot, that we could all come together and realize that we have the same vision and not create polarity around it, but create a home and a hub. And so and we thought, wow, if these people are involved with this group, they may never have heard this person speak before. And just like I said, running in those different circles, we've heard there's some people this year that a lot of people that weren't in their circle probably haven't heard, that will blow people's minds. And so I'm really looking forward to it. I always think one of the at any program, but at Mile-High, the people that I think that I can't wait to hear that are going to be the best are always great. But there's always this person that I may never have heard them speak, or someone had suggested them, or they won a contest that we did to have people get an opportunity to be on stage, and then you hear them speak, and it's just sometimes those are the people that tend to be my absolute favorites, because it's like it's hearing it with like a fresh, seeing it with fresh eyes. But yeah, we wanted it to not just be like a cookie cutter program, but that there was new talent and a new voice, and that everybody could come together, that it wasn't like just one particular group of people. So
yeah, and that's one of the cool things we do with Chiro Hustle too, is I saw that there was a huge need to support the women chiropractic's voice, and that's one of the reasons that we're featuring women for the first 4 months of the year. And I also realized that there's a huge need to feature the chiropractic student's voice. Because I realized also that the chiropractic student is actually a chiropractor.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes, I mean, they're in the grind of getting through school, getting through boards, and paying, all kinds of money to get an education, to get out with tons of debt. And, they're our brothers and sisters, and we've got that's one of the things that I feel very strongly about, is finding a way to build them up and to help support students. So I'm really glad you're doing that.
Well, yeah, I just think that they are chiropractors already, and
Right.
they subordinate so readily to say, I'm just a student. Well, they're not just students, because what they're doing is they're leading a unified front for their families to say, I'm going to be maybe the first doctor in my family, and I chose to be a chiropractor.
Right. Right. I know, it's pretty extraordinary.
To me,
It's
that's
pretty
a big
extraordinary.
that's a big deal to me, because these people they're shining examples of achievement, and so many times they come into a profession that's so misunderstood, but yet they have the power to push on to become that future doctor.
Absolutely, absolutely, and over the years with teaching and with Mile-High and LCW and all the things that we're involved with, and Sherman and you name it, we've had an opportunity to meet so many incredible, wonderful students, and I'm excited for them to get out and start seeing people. So
Yeah, and to me, Richelle, it's I love how the chiropractic profession, especially Mile High, in a way tithes back to the student, allowing them to come out for a discount rate. And many times the chiropractors that are out there that are very successful reach out to the students and help them out with either flights or discount tickets or lodging or meals or whatever it is. But I've seen a lot of community support for the chiropractic student.
Oh, absolutely, and because we've all been there, and I think people realize that, and they know that. And nowadays the burden's even bigger. I remember when I was in chiropractic school, and it was $100,000. That's what you got out of school with in terms of debt. And then when I talked to my field doc, who was my chiropractor growing up, he spent $25,000 to go to chiropractic school. And then you see what kids are paying now. So it's, as times change, it's a lot for them to take on. And it's any professional school, though, really. But still, I want to see them do well. I want to see them thrive. I want to see them have a great life, and I want to see them, really make a difference with their practice members and in their community. So it's exciting.
Well, I think it's super cool to hear your the presence of mom coming out and everything you say about taking care of your family, but taking care of the profession as well.
Yes, for sure. For sure. Well, we've had so many people love and support and take care of us over the years, and then you get to that place of it's your turn to do it. So
yeah, that's a special place, and I'm very thankful to hear all the kind things that you guys are doing and the messages that you guys are creating, and actually the future that you guys are building the foundation for. And so many times everybody wants to leave a mark on the profession, and they want to leave it better than what they found it. And I think that that's what you and Danny are definitely doing with the movement that you guys have started out here in Colorado.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. I really appreciate that. We do our best. So we're giving it our all.
Well, sometimes it becomes kind of the monotony of this is the next year. We have to get these type of speakers. We have to make sure we diversify ourselves with this type of a program. We have to do these breakout sessions. We have to have Jim Chester and Luke there. I mean, there's so many things that you have to layer up in order to just put on one weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a year-round planning thing, but it's so much fun. And then when you're there and like you're in the energy of all of it, and you see people like you or people who've been coming since day one, and you just stand there and actually look at the number of people, and that it's going to help make their lives, their practices, their teams' lives better, their family lives better. It's worth every hour spent to pull it off. So
well, at the end of the day, I think it's a lot about the relationships that people get to build because of the platform you guys have created.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I hope that's the case.
Well,
sure.
For me being a very objective viewer of what's happened, being in the audience, being a vendor, being somebody that's helped work the audience a little bit too, I've had a chance to see it from all angles, and I'm really supportive of what you guys do. And when we were doing our poll to find out like who the chiropractic profession wanted to hear as like women's voice supporting Chiropractic Hustle podcast, it was amazing how many people mentioned your name. So I was really happy to finally get you onto the program.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I really, really appreciate it. It's an honor to be here. And like I said, I'm so grateful for everything that you guys are doing, too, to make the world a little bit of a better place, especially our little chiropractic world. So.
Well, the impact that we're all doing together, I think, is just very special. And everything has changed, I think, since 6 years ago.
I agree.
I think that the conversations about the chiropractic profession have changed. And I think that the future chiropractors, even more equipped, even though they might have a little bit more of a debt load, I think they're becoming more unified, and they're becoming more equipped with leadership, and they are the force of change.
Absolutely, and I think that's what it's going to take. It's going to really take a really energized, unified, new crop of chiropractors that are just on fire, and that's what's really going to change the profession. It's kind of like passing the torch, and I know there's a lot of people out there that have strong convictions and care and want to get involved and really want to see things grow and move forward. So it's exciting.
So what are some of your favorite apps or technologies that keep you engaged with your community?
Oh, my favorite apps. That's a tough one. I like technology, but I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with technology. I mean, I'm on Facebook, but not a lot. I like Pinterest. I like to listen to podcasts a lot. I listen to chiropractic podcasts. I also really like Tim Ferriss. I like his podcast. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to that, but that's kind of a big thing for me. I'm still old school, I email, text, the whole deal. My kids are trying to get me to Snapchat. They don't really answer text anymore, and they say Facebook and emails for old people. So that's the up and coming. That's the up and coming thing, that it's just the teenagers only Snapchat. They do a little Instagram, but Snapchat's the thing. So I'm trying my best.
Well, when you're not saving the world being a doctor, what do you listen to and what do you read in your spare time to feed your brain?
Feed my brain. I kind of diverse, a lot of diverse things. I mean, I do, the self-help chiropractic stuff. I like Tony Robbins. I really like Tim Ferriss. My faith is really important to me, so I listen to a lot of faith-based things. Like Matthew Kelly is really amazing. I like his books. I'm very into sports. I love the Pittsburgh Steelers because I grew up in Pittsburgh, and I'm a huge Colorado Rockies fan. So I would say those are kind of my, I don't want to say escapes, but you do so much stuff with self-help and with chiropractic and stuff. Every once in a while you're like, all right, I need like my little thing that just relaxes me, and I really enjoy sports too. So
yeah, my parents are also from Pennsylvania, so I know all about
fun.
Steelers.
No, it's a religion there.
I think we have an autographed football by one of the players too.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, it's definitely a big deal there, and I'm a huge anybody that knows me. Anytime I am on Facebook, it's generally like shout out to the Steel, cheering for the Steelers. So, but yeah, those are kind of just some fun random things about me. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of fun, like light reading too, just as a way to kind of, like I said, kind of escape or relax. So, but yeah.
Do you like traditional reading or audiobooks?
I like traditional reading, although I've started doing audiobooks a little bit more because I'm in the car a lot, because we travel so much, or if I'm on the plane or something like that, I'll just download a whole bunch of podcasts and listen to them. But I've been doing that a little bit more lately than I did before that. I was just, reading a lot of reading still, a lot of books, but I've been shifting more into Audible and podcasts. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So this is the point where we ask you for some websites, email addresses, social links. How can people find you and your programs easier?
Sure. So, wow. Do you want me to go down the whole list?
Give us your big three.
Big three. So I would say milehighchiro.org is for Mile High. Our offices are Network Wellness Centers with an S, networkwellnesscenters.com for our office. We also have a mentoring program that we do, like an Inner Circle Facebook group, and it's lifetimewellnesspractice.com. And yeah, I guess those are the big three. We teach Network Spinal too, so you can look up Network Spinal. It's still, I believe, under wiseworldseminars.com. So those are the major things we're engaged in, and of course the IFCO, the LCW, all those good stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting to the end of this episode. Is there anything we didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. I just want to thank you guys, like I said, for all that you do, and just all the people that are out there listening. And just tell them to go light up the world and stay on purpose, and reach out if people need support. There's so many good, like Jim said, so many good resources out there for people. And, we'd love to get to know you better, see you at one of our events at Mile High, whatever, and, just become part of the family. So
yeah, just really quickly, let everyone know when's Mile High going to be this year.
Sure. So we do Mile High every weekend, or every year, the same weekend, and it's in August. So it's the week of the 17th, 18th, and 19th, that weekend in August.
Which is also my birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday, Luke.
So we usually have Luke going to work filming the Mile High weekend on his birthday.
I know, poor guy. I remember that. I was like, oh, you at least need a birthday coffee, Luke. So yeah, we're really getting excited about it. It's the 16th through the 19th this year. Same place at the Marriott in Westminster. So, but maybe we'll have to get you a cake this year, Luke.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm happy just to see everyone and be there, though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for being our guest today. It was truly an honor.
Yeah, thank you, Richelle. It's nice to be able to share your message with our audience.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you.
You too. We want you to enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
You as well.
All right. We'll see you.
See you soon, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.